Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast. It's nice to be back with you live from the G4 Claims studio. I am your host, Ryan 118 Fitzsimons, and I am joined today by two of my marvellous comrades to the left of me. I will start with the man over on the left-hand side, who's back again, Dylan Murdoch. Dylan, how are you doing, son?
Aye, Ryan, good to be back. A lot earlier this time, innit, than usual, but aye, good to see the sun and then being for this, but no, it's good to be back and aye, all good.
You've came straight for your walk. I feel terrible. You probably just want your bed.
I was actually alright then. Calum said he was tired, so he's pumped me down with him.
And on that note, the man in the middle, who is, as Dylan has already said, tired, it's Calum Craig.
I've got a cheek to be tired, to be fair. Since I came in for work last night, right to my bed, best sleep I've had since I was born.
So born.
Honestly. No, it's good. I think the weather's a nice wee change and good to be talking about Celtic as always.
There's a feel-good feeling in Glasgow this week, isn't there? As soon as the sun comes out, we're all happy and cheery.
It's rare, isn't it? Rare.
It is rare.
I remember last Thursday it was a storm getting here.
Aye.
So
I remember I went to London obviously on the Friday, and the Friday morning on the way out here it was, it was like a storm, and here we are. It's to be a storm again this time next week. We know what it's like. We're used to it by now, but hopefully it keeps up for the next few weeks as Celtic look to make it 4 in a row and hopefully a treble as well. It would be nice to get a couple of trips to Hampden in the sun. We're going to talk about a few things today that we need to cover. As Calum already mentioned, we are a little bit earlier in the studio today. Usually we would film around 7 o'clock at night. Roughly today we're in here, it's 3:30. We thought we'd get ourselves out and about while we could, and of course Kieran Auld no with us today, gone but not forgotten, so I keep him in your prayers. He's absolutely fine. He's absolutely fine. Right, let's get on to the conversations. First of all, big shout out to the Streets Will Remember for the clobber that I have on today. It is absolutely fantastic. We hat here, we 67 number, we Caesar t-shirt, their full collection. I will leave the link in the description. Go and check it out. And if you don't want to buy any stuff, you can at least go and follow them over on Instagram to help them out. Help the independent businesses. Tell you, some of the best Sellik clobber I've had in a while, boys.
That's lovely, so it is. I said that and you put the photo in the chat. It's
nice.
That's a belt.
Big fan.
You'll see me kitted out the next time I'm in Europe in my gear, Right, let's talk about Celtic, shall we? We have got to kick off, I think, today's episode with that big conversation that came out on Monday surrounding the SPFL and potential restructuring. Now, there's positives, there's negatives. The positive being restructuring is in the works by the looks of it. They do want to change Scottish football, which has been criticised for a long, long time. The negatives, maybe not the positives we thought we were getting, because they're thinking about making it a 10-team league. So, Calum, I'll start with you. What are your initial thoughts to everything that's came out these last few days, and what's your thoughts on restructuring in general?
I think, as you touched on to start, I think it was looking positive when they said about the restructure, because again, we said it for I don't know how long. It needs to be a 14 or a 16 team league. Preferably for me, I would say 14, just because there was a guy that done a video about it. I think your man, Joseph.
Anthony Joseph.
He retweeted it, and it's about the Greek league. Yep. They've got a brilliant setup. But again, it's something I've never really looked into, but I'd be all for that. But then as soon as I heard them saying, we're looking at making it 10, I'm like, why? Like, it's already a mess as it is just now. Why make it even worse? The SFA just continue to baffle you. The
Scottish football pyramid is on its knees as it is. 12 teams in the top flight. It it's got boring, it's got tedious, Calum. So you've got everybody basically saying, right, we want expansion, and the only people who turn around and say, all right, no, we're going to maybe decrease is the guys at the top. Is it just another example of how they're maybe unfit for purpose?
Oh, massively. I think, as you said, like, it's all the Scottish pyramid system, the whole person, I think, is a bit of a joke, especially when you look at the kind of the lowland league teams and such, and they try and move into League 2, or you can't come up because you've not got certain, like, you don't fit certain criteria. Like, see if you're the best team within that league and you win it, you should be getting promotion. It's simple as that. And then for them to turn round and look at saying, oh, do you know what, we're actually taking our 2 teams away from what's supposed to be your best league within Scotland, the top flight in your Premiership. It's just baffling.
Dylan, I'll come and ask you the same question. Your first impressions of everything, your hopes of these conversations. Just fill us in on what you've thought over these last few days.
I think Calum's got it spot on. To be honest, I'm on the same boat as him. I think it's always been a discussion over the years that never really came to fruition, but I've always been a fan of, like, not a fan, sorry, I've always been interested in the talks of the league getting changed, because it can get boring at it sometimes, and I don't know why on earth they would possibly make it 10. I think that's just baffling, because I think I'd obviously, as you said, make it probably worse than what it is now, and now it's a bit not as fun or exciting as some other leagues, but it definitely make more sense, I think, to have it, like, increase, if anything, if they were going to change it, but it's interesting to see what's going about the now, but I'm definitely the same boat as you.
Calum, you brought up, quite rightly, the struggles for teams to get promoted into the actual professional pyramid itself, but even to get promotion into the top flight is solid enough. You know, as soon as you're in a playoff place, the Championship, the odds are stacked against you. The team who finish 11th in the Scottish Premiership are basically secured a spot, because it's just so difficult for these teams in the Championship. So we're locking these teams out.
I think that, I know I'll be wrong, somebody will put it in the comments, but the only time I can think it working for the Championship team was Hamilton against Hibs, and they beat them in penalties. It's the only time I can think of off the top of my head where the lesser teams actually benefited from it, because again, I know what you think, your team that finishes in like 11th, you think, oh, they should be doing better off, but they've still got such a big financial gulf with teams. Like, for example, Ayr, if Ayr were to come up in the playoff, or Livy, like, there's still a massive difference between that two. Try to expect teams to make that jump, it's just, it's mad.
When you look at it this year, realistically, it's either going to be Ross County or Dundee. It could be anybody the way the bottom half's going, really, but you look at Ross County, you look at Dundee. Ross County with a massive bankrolling from their Highlands owner, Dundee, who are a big club with a lot of supporters, big city. I mean, and then you've got Livingston, who David Martindale has gone on about being skint for the last 5-6 years. So
Budgets.
you know, it's financially there's a big difference, but then just the amount of football they're actually got to play in a playoff semi-final over one or two legs, and it's a playoff final between the Championship teams. Then it's into the game against the 11th. While the team in this league just kind of rubs its hands and waits. So I think we all know the real reason that they are considering this 10-team option, and it's because it safely keeps those 4 derbies. And that's the priority, whether people like it or not. They want to keep these derbies. But Dylan, I don't know about you. Do you know, is there a point where they should maybe consider, right, money is important, but fans should be prioritised? And I think we all can agree that maybe the 4 derbies is a little bit over the top. How do you navigate all of this? Like,
I think you've got it spot on there. Like, obviously, the derbies are important for, like, television and stuff like that, but I think it's that way as well. See, if you're doing the more teams in the league, you're also getting a better chance of, like, seeing newer teams come up, because it's like, you see it up and down every season, it's always the same teams maybe coming up and down. You don't really get a rare change. Like, I think only the closest one was maybe Arbroath a couple of years ago when they were runners up, but it's just like that way. Even if you're doing more, if you're not doing the 10, you're still getting, like, some derbies, and it's obviously the most important ones, like the Celtic Rangers and stuff, but obviously you get the Dundee derby, the Hibs Hearts. But for me personally, I've just always been a fan of the more teams option, just to try and get some fresh teams in. And as you said there, Ryan talked about, like, the news as well. Sorry, Calum, it's the smaller teams trying to come up against the bigger teams, so they're playing more playoff games, so it's just really frustrating because they're doing all the hard work, the more games than the higher teams. So
we are hearing that they are considering 14 team options, 16 team options as well. It's not all doom and gloom. There could potentially be scope for other options when it comes to the restructuring. I think that they've got to see this backlash and surely Calum reverse their 10-team thinking, because there's no way that fans... And I think this is where the other clubs are going to become just as important as Celtic and Rangers, because it's all very well and good in Celtic and Rangers fans to make their voices heard, and we often do when things go against us. But this, arguably, and I say arguably, I think it definitely affects the smaller teams more. So you're going to see Motherwell fans rally, you're going to see Hearts and Hibs fans rally, you're going to see Dundee fans rally. They're going to make their voices heard, and if all these supporters go to their grounds and tell the SPFL, the SFA, or whoever's making these decisions to shove it, then surely there's got to be a wake up call, and they go, right, maybe we do change our minds here.
Oh, massively. I think most, as you said, when you touch on like your smaller teams, they lose out on, essentially, if it was to be, they're losing out on another potential payday. I say, like, when you get like either Celtic or Rangers or like Hibs, Hearts, folk that take a good travelling spot, because you're taking away a good financial chunk from them. And then also with the TV deal, do you think Sky are really going to sign up and pay more money to give you the likes of lesser games? Like, I don't want to say lesser games, you feel bad saying that about other teams in the league, but they then say, oh, well, if we're not getting our money's worth, that's your only downfall with the expansion, because they might say, oh, well, we're not getting 2 derbies instead of 4 this year, I'll only pay you X amount then, and then you need to spread that sort of television money. And I know when clubs make Europe, obviously the league gets money as well, that then has to be sort of spread further out. So I can see the kind of both sides of the coin for it.
Yeah, God, I'm looking forward to seeing where these conversations go. I just don't understand, lads. I don't know about yous, but like, imagine this 10-team league, 36 games a season, everybody's got to play Celtic and Rangers 4 times, there's no split, whatever. Like, the gap's just going to get bigger. And I know we bang on about this podcast, but we don't get bored of winning. Of course we don't. They'll never understand what it's like to be a Celtic fan in that regard. We just don't get bored of winning. But, like, it's going to be like Celtic, who are already 13 points clear of Rangers. So let's just say Celtic have a 10-point gap ahead Rangers. Then it's going to be like 45 points until like 3rd place. That's what the league's going to become, and they're just going to kill it. They're just going to absolutely kill it, and the death of Scottish football is just going to be accelerated if we go for a 10-team option. So I really hope they see sense, to be honest. I really hope so.
What I'm not really getting is, again, obviously I can only take it from a Celtic perspective, but a lot of teams, well, a lot of supporters, from like the kind of lesser teams, are saying, oh, it's brilliant getting them out there. I'm like, no, because then we essentially become on par with like the Welsh League. Aye. If you take us to us and send them down south, let them go and do their thing.
Well, they're dying
it's
for
just
the day.
Stupidity.
Aye, I don't think the fans of these teams really understand what will happen if Celtic and Rangers go. We are the money in this league, and I don't mean that in an arrogant sort of way, but we're the cash cows of Scottish football. And it's the equivalent of, now I know the circumstances are very different. You'd need to go and look up the history of Welsh football to understand why Cardiff, Swansea, Wrexham and Newport are in the English leagues. But like, if you suddenly just one day drag Celtic and Rangers, who are not just 2 of the biggest clubs in Scotland, but 2 of the biggest clubs in the world, out of this league, you know, it's not as if people are sponsorships and TV broadcasters are wanting to pile money into Motherwell and Ross County.
Premier spot.
That's it. And do you know what? They would maybe enjoy it though. Maybe, you know, it gives them they may not care about the flashy players and whatnot. But
I know, but then again, it would just end up in the same way it's been. It would end up a very sort of 1-horse race where Aberdeen got a financial back.
You know, they see it right now. There's so many clubs that are just struggling to make ends meet, and Inverness, they're about to fucking disappear off. There'll be many more Invernesses and Gretnas and whoever else if Celtic and Rangers were suddenly gone. So be careful what you wish for in that regard, because we could be all right moving down to England. We'll probably get used to it eventually, but don't know about up here. So that was the big story that broke earlier in the week. We are waiting to see what happens. There was reports that came out late last night saying that the SPFL were set to rethink the 10-team option due to the backlash they've had initially, but you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt right now. We have no idea, and essentially we know what happens in Scottish football. The solution that makes the least sense wins, so be ready for that. Some big news that came out this week. Dylan Kasper Schmeichel is due to be back in between 5 to 6 weeks time. Great news for Celtic.
It's a lot better than what we originally thought in it, so that's good news. But I think we were talking about last week, it was good to see Sinisal get a run out at the weekend.
Were you impressed?
For what he had today, it was not too bad, and there wasn't any bomb scares or anything like that, so it was so far so good, I think. But obviously hopefully we see him at the weekend. We will see him at the weekend again, see him throughout more times before Schmeichel's back, because you don't really want to rush Michael too
No.
much because as we're talking about the league's wrapped up and stuff like that. But nah, it was interesting to see how they're going at the weekend. But so far so good.
He made that one really good save. I think it was like a wee flick on for the corner or something. That was
right, aye.
really good reactions. I mean, for somebody who's sat in a bench all season to react as quickly as he did, that's good. But it is best of both worlds stuff, Dylan, isn't it? Because it does give Sinisalo that run out to maybe convince some Celtic fans that he could be Schmeichel's, the heir to Schmeichel's goalkeeping throne, if you like. That's how I loved it.
Good way to put it. Aye.
So it's nice to see that bit of time,
Especially when you're like so used to, I think the last, what's that now, about 4 or 5 seasons, we're used to just the 2 goalkeepers. Obviously Joe Hart didn't really come out of goals much. So it's nice to see a new face, to be honest. But obviously it's good to, obviously you want Schmeichel back in goals. He's the most trustworthy and most reliable and get the most experience in his career and that. But nah, it's good to see a new face for me.
It'd be good to see the defence play as well together over the next few weeks, because Nawrocki came in, done well. Sinisalo's came in, done well. And obviously Jeffrey Schlupp continues to play well. We will talk about Jeffrey Schlupp very, very soon. Another one of the big stories that came out over the week, Calum, is Greg Taylor set to leave. Brendan Rodgers has effectively confirmed that is happening. Just once again, general thoughts?
Yeah, he's come in, done his job. Also, didn't fancy the extension he was offered. Obviously, sees himself playing elsewhere, or thinks his abilities are better suited elsewhere. So that's what his mindset is, and then do what, all the best to him. See where he ends up.
It's understandable for him to leave with Tierney coming back. It's not exactly nice to be told, you will be back up no matter how much you've given the club. But listen, I think it's one of those ones that was maybe naturally the point for him to go anyway, wasn't it? With Tierney coming in and obviously with Schlupp being a potential option, it was hard to see a place for him, wasn't it?
I think more so, as you say, with KT coming in, he's always going to be a starter. And then, as we touched on there with Schlupp, if he comes in, I get you really want to sit him a third choice left back. Nobody does. So I think, again, probably best for himself if he's then moved on and kind of finds a new club.
You must be devastated, Dylan.
Usually I'm a big Taylor fan, but nah, like Calum said, it does make sense. With Kieran Tierney coming in, I feel it was night and day that Kieran Tierney's probably going to be our starting 11 player. It was always could have been if Schlupp didn't sign, it'd have been nice for Taylor to hang around and maybe get, obviously he's trustworthy in the league and stuff, but I think earlier years we always know a left back mainly in Europe's been a main option that we've needed. Like Greg Taylor played his part in the league and had some good games in Europe, but we all know we need that next level left back for that standard. But, and we know Kieran Tierney's done it in the Premier League, obviously without injuries, but he's trustworthy in Europe as well when he was here. So.
It's got to be nervous like this last few waiting to just make sure Tierney sees it.
6 months he's out.
I don't say that. That big plank of wood under the table. Have you seen that there's already people trying to start the rumour that Taylor will go to Rangers?
I've seen that.
God almighty.
Imagine, but
I mean, because he would surely be he would probably the first player in like post-war era, at least. I don't know if there was anybody pre-war who's went directly from one of the clubs to the other, straight from Celtic to Rangers.
I don't think so.
It's not going to happen.
Kenny Miller
he went to Derby and then came to Celtic or whatever.
That's right, so.
Mo
Johnson did he? No, I don't think he did, because he knocked back Sellik to go to Rangers, didn't he? I think, or did he? Or I can't remember if Mo Johnson knocked anybody.
It's going to be folks screaming at us. Come on, I wouldn't fucking want to see the man kick him.
No, I'm pretty sure he went down. He was at Celtic, went down south, then came back up to go to Rangers.
Went to Nantes actually.
France was it he went to? Right.
And I went Rangers, so.
So it would be like the first time ever, basically, that had happened. But people are desperate to spread rumours like that. Especially because it's Greg Taylor and it's like, he was a big Rangers
Greg Taylor turned heel.
I was stunned. I wonder if he'll still end up in Zagreb. Remember that was
the main rumour, wasn't it?
That was the papers were saying that.
If it was Zagreb, I could maybe see him saying, like, if you're going over to stay in Croatia, decent wage, aye, fair enough. How do you go from Zagreb to Rangers? Like, do you know what I mean? His missus thinks, class, you'll get a wee house on the coast, and all she's doing is moving to Govan.
Aye, well. Aye.
Just Greg Taylor. I always thought he'd maybe down England or something, or maybe even stay in Scotland, actually.
I thought late 20s.
It's Taylor. 26, 27.
Was that all?
Still going
that's
into
actually quite
the prime of his career, basically.
Aye. Fair enough then.
Best of luck to him, I suppose, and we'll probably have official word of what's happening about him before the end of the season, so we'll talk about it then. And the last wee bit on the bulletin that I wanted to talk about for the first half of the show is to do with moving into next season, the front line, Dyson Maeda, strikers, whatever. Now, I don't know if any of you saw, but Brendan Rodgers came out and said to Celtic TV that potentially next season Maeda might be the main man through the middle. His exact words were, it'll probably be easier for us to sign a top winger than it is to sign a top striker. Now, you're nodding your head, Calum. Do you agree with the manager's assessment? Do you think it's easier to find a winger than it is a striker?
Oh, definitely. And again, I'm not saying that a winger's of a lesser value, because there's plenty of wingers that we've seen that are worth more than the centre forwards, but again, a lot of clubs are very reluctant to let their main man go, especially when it is somebody that is your main goal threat. Supposed to, if it's a wide player, you can kind of adapt them, albeit if it's a right mid or a left mid. So I think Rodgers will get it quite spot on with it, to be honest.
I think that, we'll see that in the last few years especially, history dictates that signing top wingers has been pretty good for Celtic. We've found Jota, we've found Maeda, we've found Kuhn, we found Liel Abada, who was a great player when we first brought him in. Brendan Rodgers, of course, had Scott Sinclair, Patrick Roberts and such in his first run. We've also had top strikers, but we've had a lot of garbage strikers as well, and sometimes we've shelled out a bit of money on strikers who haven't cut the cheese, if you like. So, what do you think? Do you think that Brendan Rodgers has maybe spelled out the smarter move for Celtic? What's your thoughts on it all?
I mean, for me, I think it just depends who goes out. If like, let's say Kuhn stays, Jota stays, and then would they play Maeda through the middle all season though? And I think Maeda's been absolutely brilliant, and he's 30 goals now he got at the weekend there, so absolutely fantastic, and I've been loving him through the middle. But would you obviously a winger is a good option, but I think if you keep Forrest and then you've got Kuhn, Jota, his wing's going to be too stacked. But is that why? Well, the Champions League as well. Would you trust Maeda all the time?
You've brought me into what the next point of conversation was meant to be, because according to the Daily Record, I don't know if you remember at the start of the season, we were talking about Michel Ange Balikwisha from Antwerp in Belgium. So according to the Record, this morning, Michel Ange Balikwisha is back on the agenda for Celtic, and we had scouts reportedly watching him in a game in Belgium over the weekend. So it seems like he's back on the radar. Now, does that mean that Celtic's approach is going to be, right, he was, I think, a left winger? So you'd have Jota and Balikwisha on the left. You'd have Kuhn, and technically Jota on the right, because he can play a bit Forrest and Yang. And then you have Maeda and Ida as your strikers. Is that, Dylan, perhaps a good enough squad in the front, in the final third in terms of depth?
I think for me, just if I'm being honest, I don't know if I feel like it'd be good enough for Champions League striker wise, because as much as I love Maeda, I think we just don't know if Ida's form. It just all depends his form this season. I love Adam Ida, but would that be good enough for that next step to the Champions League?
Well, it's interesting you say it, because I said in my stream last night, I still think I'm not saying that it's not a good idea to have Maeda as the starting striker. I agree. I think that's fine for us next season. But I think we should probably still look for somebody, even if it's a second choice or third choice striker, just to really enhance that area. I think you can look at both. You can do both if we have enough room in the squad. But it's just really interesting to see how now that the conversation has shifted, when Rodgers, Calum, back in January was saying, no, I don't want Maeda to be the striker, but now he's saying he's happy with it. Is it just the form that's maybe swayed his mind and swayed Celtic fans' minds in general? Yeah,
definitely. I think it is the form that has him come in. I think probably like much of us, when Kyogo left, obviously we thought, why have we not replaced him? But again, it's made us certainly come in and done that job. So I think Rodgers, very much like us, has been swayed by the form. I think, as Dylan was touching on, the players that we have within that front three, I think it's especially if Forrest is to sort of see this as he's kind of, that's me. Another right winger would be brilliant, because again, realistically, if Kuhn was to go, you're left with just Yang at that point. So another right winger would be nice. But as we touched on, Jota is also able to play on the right. So I don't think a left winger would be the kind of the be all end all, the worst case scenario. It's going to be a fun few months anyway, nonetheless. We're going to get linked. I mean, if you read into this article, in fact, they also report the same publication in Belgium who said Celtic were scouting Balikwisha
on Saturday night, said that we are also keeping close tags on 2 Union Saint-Gilloise players, Noah Siddiqui and Franjo Ivanovic, who fit the Celtic transfer profile but would come with big price tags. So we're going to get names thrown at us left, right and centre, positions thrown at us left, right and centre. And it's going to be really interesting to see what our starting front three will be going into next season. I'm really intrigued on that part.
Plus, you're used to in the last couple of seasons, at least 1 or 2 big players leaving at the end of the season. So it would just be interesting to see if a player like maybe Kuhn or feel better in next season. Because obviously I'm assuming Jota and Maida will be staying, because Maida's hopefully going to sign him and then Jota's coming. So
hopefully he gets a contract. But here's the thing. We know what Celtic fans are like. They're a fickle bunch and we're very fucking reactionary. Well, I don't consider myself reactionary, but the majority of Celtic fans seem to be nowadays. I think that what will dictate Celtic fans' thoughts on Maida starting through the middle is this next run of games. Between now and the end of the season, if he keeps banging them in, Celtic fans are going to be all for it. They'll be like, if it's not broke, we don't need to fix it. But if he hits a dry patch and if he doesn't score for 2 games in a row, you're going to have Celtic fans going, we need a striker. We need to go and spend 15 million quid on Matthias Wiesgarden and we need a striker. So it's just got to be so up and down between now and the end of the season, depending on how Maida scores them, I think.
Oh,
so
as you say, that's just how reactionary our fan base is. Like, it could very well go St Johnstone at the weekend and Kelly after that, not scoring. I was like, oh fuck, then scored a hat trick in the semis or something. Do you know what I mean? It's just
And the derby as well will have a big say, I'd imagine, in fans' opinions. But it is interesting to see Balikwisha come back up, because we were heavily linked with him, and then he got that big injury and it kind of died down a bit. So, I'm very intrigued to see what we do for our transfer business in the summer, but we'll see. We'll be here anyway. Anyway, last topic for today before we move on to the final bits of housekeeping. St Johnstone this weekend for Celtic, a chance to take one step closer to securing 4 in a row. This could have been the party this weekend. Celtic could have won the league if it wasn't for Derby disaster. So, nonetheless, we need to get the job done, Calum, and it's just about building on what was a fantastic return performance against Hearts.
Oh, definitely. I think it is just that kind of... The first 10 minutes against Hearts, it was like, oh, fuck, here we go again. But once you kind of play through that press and some lovely football getting played at times for Celtic, I think it then just kind of became the standard procedure. And you would like to hope so that we can kind of go to Perth on Sunday and keep up the very same.
It was good, Dylan, for a few of the players who were under heavy criticism in the Rangers game to step up. Nicholas Kuhn, who's been a wee bit off the boy, was hooked at half time, in fact, ended up picking up an assist and could have been 2 assists. Johnston, Carter Vickers, heavily criticised. And obviously we're seeing the return of Bernardo, Forrest. The Celtic squad seems to be back in a good place, and maybe that was the international break we just kind of needed.
It was more like the game at the weekend was more like seeing the first half of the season Celtic when it was like back to normal. I think that's the right word I'd say, but even Kuhn was looking quite good, as you said before he got hanged. So it's good to see that, and hopefully it keeps up, and obviously would need to keep that form going into the next derby, because obviously the want to go to Ibrox feeling a bit shaky, like players no in form. So it's just a matter of getting back to business, and as you said, getting that one step closer to bringing on another league trophy.
St Johnstone have a lot to play for though this weekend. We can't underestimate that. I know the last time we went up there we beat them, I think it was 6-0 the last time we were up in McDermott Park. But you know, they're in a position now where it's win or go down. They're rock bottom. I think they're 6 points off of Dundee. Is that what it is? 5 points off of Dundee. But a win could be huge for them. So they'll come out swinging, Calum. I think that they'll go for it. And I seen the manager speaking yesterday, and I'm so sorry, but I can never remember his name. It's, what is it, Vimy? I'll butcher it if I try as well off the top of my head. I seen him on Sky Sports yesterday talking about this game, and he seems to be very... not optimistic, because he's very realistic about the chances of St Johnstone getting a result, but he seems very forward about, like, you know, we need to look at this as a chance to beat Celtic and give ourselves survival. So they'll come out swinging.
Oh, massively. I think they have to at this point, especially when you're that kind of 5 points adrift. You have to still all to play there for them. So yeah, I think we probably will see an interesting game. I think it'll be interesting to see how St Johnstone actually take that approach of playing open for a change. because they have to go 3 points. A point's no use to them at this rate.
Aye. I mean, obviously the split is huge for them because that's when they play the teams that are in their level. But you know, it's as you said, it's like, you know, every point dropped, it could be further astray from survival. They want to give themselves the best possible shot. Dylan, this will be a bit of a dress rehearsal, in fact, for the cup semi as well, because this is how we take on the semi-final.
I didn't think of that, actually. It's a nice wee tester in it, just to see what's happening. Obviously, handing it will be a different approach, probably, but no, it's been nice to see the thing, as you said, because hopefully St Johnstone are a wee bit more up for it as they need to get the maximum points, and I think they were quite lucky that Dundee slipped up at the weekend as well, so that should hopefully give them a boost because we won. Hopefully gives it a better game.
Sorry, I never realised this was the St Johnstone
podcast. Hopefully that makes it a better game as well to watching, because you don't. Would you want to go and win 6-0? It's nice to get a wee exciting game, make it a wee bit more spicy in it, but nah.
We don't want 6-0s. We want 3-2s at the last minute.
There's almost something that Andrew used to say something like that. He's like, he'd rather win fucking. It was rather lose 4-3.
It was a pure bonkers quote when he first came in, and it was like, fair enough. It was something like, I'd rather win 4-3 than lose. Or no, I'd rather lose 4-3 than win 1-0 or something like that.
This was like that. You need to win it, Celtic.
Anyone who's getting sacked at the end of the season. Sorry, Ange, I don't mean for you to catch strays. I love you, big man. Celtic have options. Players back. A lot of people desperate to see Paulo Bernardo starting at the weekend. Do we think he's ready for that yet, or do you think Rodgers will hold off for another wee bit?
Nah, I think he needs to hold off just another wee bit, especially coming back from that injury. To see it, I think even myself being quite an optimistic hoping for him to be back even for the Rangers game, even if it was on the bench for their capacity. But nah, you can't have him been out for that length of time. I know he'll been training and such, but a game's so much more different for a training session. I'd still like to see him feature at a point, but even if it was kind of get an extra half hour in his legs or something. But it's nice to actually see him back.
Yeah, Forrest being back, he needs to continue to streak. He's got his score, he's not got his goal yet, or it's got to be like Undertaker. Get
him on a penalty, man.
Get him on a penalty. Dylan, Bernardo is. You realise how much quality that guy has as soon as he gets injured and he's out the squad. It's just so nice to have him back.
I know, especially I think in the first half, obviously we brought Engels in and he's did well, but I think when Matt O'Reilly left, it was a nice option for Bernardo to be featuring in the team, and I think first half of the season that was one of the players I was most excited to see more this season. But it's good to have that option, and I think Bernardo brings that. Obviously I feel like he's just adapting, getting better as the season goes, and the older he's getting, he's starting to add more to his game. So I agree with Calum when they throw him in, and I don't think he needs to get through in on Sunday, take any risks, but the same as well, I hope hopefully he gets another wee run out and just adds minutes to his legs and it keeps the fitness up and gets better.
Starting 11 predictions then. We know. Listen, people were going, what about the game plan? Come on, guys. It's match day 32. we know the game plan. Right, let's talk about the team. Let's talk about the team.
As Rogers throws it out the window, goes 3-5 to
Lenny Ball, prime Lenny Ball. By the way, Lenny, a huge result last night.
I know, cracking the result for him.
Good, aye.
What the part? I was going to say, Dingo wasn't.
Aye. Big one, yeah, my boy.
That was mad.
I cannot believe it.
It's just so funny when you watch it, but he just falls in stages and then just hooks the ball in the right arm. Fucking unreal.
Oh, brilliant. That's Scottish. That is like, you couldn't write a better script for Scottish football. Right, so since Sam will be in goals, as we all know, Calum and Dylan, I want to hear both your opinions on this. Trusty was on the bench at the weekend, wasn't he? So what would you do? Would you let Nawrocki play for a third time after his good form, or would you get Trusty back in? What would you pick?
I think for me it has to be Nawrocki. I don't see how you can drop him.
Fair enough.
Again, he was one of the best of a bad bunch against Rangers, and then even last week I thought he'd done everything he had to. I think his only real sort of negative maybe his passing ability, but then with some passes he played at the weekend, they actually looked quite good.
Aye.
And again, it's just building that confidence within him, because I mean, we've seen how long he was out of the team, and for him to then just kind of get thrust into the team against Rangers, it was a big call, but it's paid off, and I think he should continue to benefit from it.
Dylan, what about you? I know last week you were really giving a credit to Nawrocki. You still in that? Do you think he deserves another start?
Aye, just the same as last week. I think he's not done anything wrong, and I think Me personally, I've always wanted to see Merriam, and so far so good. So I would keep him in the team at the weekend.
Nice. So unchanged back four then from Hearts. We didn't really get to talk about Schlupp, but we'll save that for next week. Nothing's really changed anyway. Midfield three remains unchanged from Hearts.
Yeah.
Aye. I
think so.
Seems like that's the case for now anyway. Fine with that. Okay. Just spoke about Bernardo, so and then front three remains unchanged from Hearts.
Pretty much,
I were talking last week and I was like, oh, it's nice to have this discussion. Aye, same old.
But I mean, realistically, that will be. I mean, I love Big Adam Ida, and I really do want to see him getting starts just before the end of the season to maybe to help his case going into next season. But when Maida's playing that well, it's hard to justify dropping him from the striker role.
Should have got a hat-trick as well, Maida.
Yeah.
Weekend, he's just been absolutely brilliant. Did you know see his interview? He's getting one this week. Did
Aye.
you see that?
Aye.
He's like hat-trick next game. So well, I'm putting a bet on. Better date, Maida.
£100.
Please get on board a sponsor.
Glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. It keeps me in the clear. Aye, so there you go. Team basically remains unchanged from Hearts.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Watch it be like about 5 changes or something like this, isn't it, man?
I would have been nice to be able to wrap up the league up in Perth this weekend. I would have loved that wee party. But I guess we have that opportunity of winning the league at home now, which kind of feels unique.
It feels alien.
Never happens.
Doesn't it?
So
Was the last time we won at home, the league at home, was it? Can it have been 5-0, could it?
no, there was one after that definitely.
Aye, must have been.
I can't remember.
Can't
when.
think.
I can't think of that.
But
Maybe
it's
that's the first one that comes
last year it was Rugby Park. The year before that was
Tannadice.
The year before, but did we win it?
Oh no, sorry, Tynecastle.
Tynecastle.
Aye,
Then was it
Tannadice.
Tannadice?
Aye.
So it's been at least 4 years. There you go since we've last.
And then obviously COVID.
COVID. Aye. So aye, bloody hell.
Thank you.
Yeah, it might have been.
Be the 5 now.
It might be Rangers at 5-0.
The one Lennon came in halfway through the season. I think that's the season I just kind of think.
That was when Scott Brown won the league at Rugby Park.
Oh, so that's aye.
But it wasn't technically.
Oh,
It wasn't official that day. It was just like we were that far clear.
Aye.
I can't remember where we officially won the league.
That's the one.
Did Lenny win it at Tynecastle? No, I don't.
Yeah, I think his first game.
Game,
First game
aye,
was
aye.
Edward.
Somebody let us know. Somebody will know in the comments. You can drop it down for us. Score predictions then for the weekend.
We can score predictions after last time I was in.
Go on.
3-1.
3-1.
I'll go 3-0.
I'm going to go 4-0 Celtic. So let's
It's not lasting before goals get predicted this podcast.
let's just move swiftly on. Twitter questions. We've not actually got that many today because I completely forgot that we had a little less time between posting and recording. I really should have put this up last night, so apologies for this being a little bit rushed if you didn't get a chance to drop your questions in. Nonetheless, Adam always finds a way to get in. He says, are you boys buzzing for GTA 6? Absolutely. 100%.
I got the new gen ready for it. Plenty of space. So.
Months to go. And
just told for there's no delays for Rockstar. Does that your shit? And
then secondly, I feel like we've caught strays here, Dylan. Thoughts on Kerry Katona's OnlyFans? I know Ryan and Dylan both subbed it. I can categorically confirm that I do not subscribe to Kerry Katona's OnlyFans.
Get the bank statements up.
I was like, I forgot who you was. I was like, oh fuck.
So one of my mates showed me a photo on Twitter.
I know exactly what you're talking. So funny.
Everybody see that. I thought it was Sonny. Remember, I thought it was Tammy Sitch, but Sonny for the wrestling. So I was like, Sonny, like, no, it's Kerry Katona. I was like, oh, right. Don't show me that ever again. So I don't know if you have any thoughts, but really good move on. Cal, who's made it in, as he always does. Thoughts on Adam Ida? He hasn't scored since his flurry in February. Obviously, Maida has been on fire, but he was still able to make an impact competing with Kyogo last season, and obviously kind of alluding to the fact he's maybe not made as much of an impact just now. So your thoughts on Ida, Cal?
Again, he's definitely a player that has goals that I think folk need to remember. He is still, for me, a very raw striker. But there's still so many aspects of his game he does have to improve on. But again, I think it would just kind of make these comparisons to last season because of how big they were for us. Like the game at Easter Road where he gets the 2 penalties. and then obviously the cup final, he's got plenty of games, the game at Motherwell, I know we end up winning 3-1, but still, it's only because we're this far clear of it kind of hampering down.
Well, I was going to say, so maybe this isn't me trying to make excuses for Ida, because I feel like there's a running joke in my comment section that I just blindly defend them. But is he maybe a player who thrives more with the pressure? Because it feels like last year, when all that pressure was on him, he was great, and even in February there was maybe a wee bit of pressure there, especially with Kyogo just leaving, and he thrived under it for a brief period, and then Maida just kind of took over. Is he just somebody who thrives on pressure? I don't know. It's a very unique way to be, but maybe it's just a little bit off the gas pedal at the minute, because, well, we're that far clear.
Far ahead. That pressure makes diamonds, isn't it?
That's it.
Saying.
Dylan, I'm a big fan of him. I truly believe that we've got to remember he's still so in the infancy of his Celtic career. Maybe he just set the bar so high, and the price tag obviously raises the expectation. That's my opinion. What's yours?
No, I'm the same as you, and I think I'm that way. I've always had a soft spot for Ida just because of how much clutch he came in last season. Like, obviously, because we're cruising in now, I think we forget that Adam Ida low-key did save our season last year. A lot of big goals, late 90th minute goals. The cup final against Rangers, scored at Ibrox as well in a game we probably should have seed out. So no, Adam Ida's always one of the ones he can be up and down, but there's always, he's a goal scorer, there's a player in there, so I'm the same as you. Obviously the price tag's not up to him, and it sometimes does put a bit more pressure on if he's not scoring goals, but I've always been a fan of Ida, but just hopefully we can see him get a couple more today towards the end of the season.
Yeah. I hope he gets his goals before then, gives us something to talk about going into the summer, and shows the player. Listen, you're listening to the Adam Ida Propaganda podcast. You've probably gathered that by now, but hopefully we'll get it back. Doogie's saying, do any of you have any weird snack concoctions? My uncle used to put sweets in a sandwich with butter. Oh, that's a
Fucking piece of Astro belt.
I really don't have many concoctions. I'm not a concoction kind of guy.
I think I used to just put crisps on pieces, but I think
Aye,
that was
but
kind
that's
of
quite-
normal.
That's
normal.
bad. Started out this day.
I
aye.
don't think that's like a...
Can't think of any.
I've always been quite funny with concoctions. Like I can be put off stuff quite easily.
Saying that, don't I agree with you if your fucking Subway order. That's a concoction.
Well, there actually is your that. If Kieran was here, he'd be going, tell them you're. I think I've said this before on the show.
Your newest one.
When I was younger, when I first got taken to Subway, you'll not know this, Dylan, I don't think. When I first got taken to Subway, I was about 8 or 9 year old, and I had, the pressure of standing at this counter and picking what to put in a sandwich was a huge task for a young lad. So I just picked everything that I knew I liked without thinking about how well it goes in a sandwich, and you're gonna fucking when you hear it, right? So I asked for tuna because I loved tuna. So I got tuna, cheese, lettuce, pickles, and barbecue sauce. On the one sandwich, and that was my Subway until I was. That was my Subway till I was about 12.
You enjoyed that,
It was banging. It was fucking banging, I'm telling you. And during COVID, I ran it back. I got one delivered, and I got it delivered because I was like, Kieran was like, no way was it good. And I was like, do you know what? I'll fucking try it again. So I ordered it to the house because I didn't have to shamefully ask for it to somebody's face. So I ordered it to the house during COVID, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Each to their own, innit, man? Fair enough.
Aye. So that would be my weird concoction. But as I said, I was 9 year old and I had no clue what to order in Subway. So
One thing I'm going to say is one of my mates, he drinks like dragon soups. He drinks like, have you ever heard of the ginger and lime one?
no,
It's that bad. I don't think they sell it anymore. He's always looking for it, so it is a shocker. So I don't know how he can drink it. Man.
ginger and lime.
I say I don't think that.
Nah.
That's a flavour.
Oh, exactly.
Aye, as in like ginger, the mad fucking.
He's the only person I know that drinks it. It's
Aye.
absolutely rotten.
Aye,
That's mad.
Love to see the sale charts.
He just kept getting commission for years.
These days, I think I kept them in business for a while. They're not a flavour anyway.
Oh well, aye, you kept it going. I feel like I've been asked this question a million times over the years, but I'll ask it anyway. Liam, who would win a Celtic Royal Rumble? I've always went for Vickers.
Is this like the new? Or like
Aye, if you were going to current squad,
I could see a wee Ali Johnston like sneaking up behind Vickers and
tip them there.
Especially having me Canada and America, they know. He's doing it for his people.
Bad blood. You going Johnson as well? Aye. There you go. 2 Johnsons and a
I
Vickers.
think you get put out. like first man, like pure Scottish.
Greg Taylor. Hopefully James Forrest. I meant to say earlier, you said about him on the street. See if he doesn't score, I'll be out at Celtic Park with a 9-1 bar, and at my knee, I'll be dressing. I'm not going to say his name because
It's more than 9, is it? No, is it not like?
I thought this would have been his 10th season.
I thought it was like he's fucking
I thought
4.
he was man enough, to be fair.
I'll be there with that dash one.
So there you go. Forrest has been squashed in the Royal Rumble. Aidan saying, is this the flattest end to a season for a long time? And if so, why do you think that is? Usually when we're far ahead at this stage of the season, I'm still buzzing for every game, but for some reason this year feels a bit different. I'm going to come back to what I said last week when people, I think this was actually in the, was it on the podcast or was it the Thunder Club or was it my own video? It was my own video. It was a controversial opinions video. If this is flat for you, that's up to yourself. It's no flat for me. I'm fucking buzzing about another treble. I'm buzzing about the end of the season. I get it, some people aren't feeling as buzzing. I don't know if it was the Rangers game that's maybe zapped a lot of energy out of folk. I don't know if it was the gutter that was going out in Europe the way that we did with the last kick of the ball. I don't know what it is, but I think that, you know, us as fans were just very temperamental because when Jota returned to the club, there was like a euphoria of like, this is amazing, this squad, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. I'm personally buzzing. I'm going to St Johnstone at the weekend. I'm buzzing for that. I'm looking forward to winning the league at home, as we've talked about. I'm looking forward to a potential treble. It's not flat for me.
I think maybe what you said there, maybe some people are still feeling a wee bit the range. I'm not, but I think it's more, I get more, see when the split happens, that's when I get into proper party mode, do you know what I mean? But probably some people maybe just feeling the effects still of the Rangers game, but as you said, Brian Treble's on the way. Hopefully, I don't, that sounds quite that sounds a bit hanging there, doesn't it? But hopefully a treble on the way and it'll be party time soon, I guess. So for me, I'm the same as you, I'm buzzing for the end of the season. But
Maybe you can.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it is those two results that gets folk feeling a wee bit flat, but I just can't win another treble. For me, cheer up. How can you be feeling down?
Listen, enjoy it while we can, because we don't know what's going to happen with this Rangers takeover, and people won't like me saying it, but it could be a matter of years before Rangers are back competing for trophies again. The treble era, for all you know, is in its last few years. And I'm not saying that Rangers are back and this takeover suddenly going to make them the top team in Scotland or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that Rangers have been so far behind us financially for the last decade. It's gifted us a great era of dominance in Scottish football, along with our hard work and deserving style of football. So in 10 years, who knows where we'll be again? We don't know. And that counts for even if they didn't get a bloody takeover. You don't know where we'll be in 10 years. So enjoy it. Because when it's gone, it's gone. And you'll be regretting feeling flat about it, is what I'll say.
Just enjoy it, man.
There was something else I was going to say in terms of why people might think it's flat as well, and I don't know, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I think because Big Phil's away now, doesn't he?
Don't get hammered.
The maths on the rolling.
Anyway. Get back, it's punk back in trophy day, man.
Aye.
Imagine I just played it all the time.
And then we had, I think, the final one.
Oh no, it was a couple. Fucking love that.
So I hate to break the heart of Liam, but Kieran isn't here today. He did start with saying, well, afternoon, Kieran, pal, buddy, mate. I'm sure Kieran's thinking about you, Liam, don't worry. Hope you're doing well. It's just wondering, what brand of butter do you use? I'm a Lurth Pack man myself, and here, mind the time Yusuf Malumbu, he was some laugh. I think he missed a few words out there, Liam, but mind Yusuf Malumbu is effectively what he was trying to say. I do enjoy this style of comment that brings us the most obscure things at Celtic. We wanted a John McGinn, we got a Yusuf Malumbu. And he said, hair looked good last episode, Ryan boy. Thank you. It's a shame I'm wearing a hat this week, you guys see, but I did get it cut last Thursday, so when I came in, I was straight after the cut, basically. Butter.
I'm the same as my Lurth Pack man.
I'm a Lurth Pack man. Or if the money's if the money's tight, maybe a wee bit of North Pack.
Maybe a North Pack. Money's not there yet.
So about the two. I've never been a fan of like Kerrygold.
Nah, neither.
I've only ever had it. See like the But the wee
wee
ones you get,
aye,
they're just a pain in the arse.
Fucking. Unless if they're melted, they're all right.
Aye, but I've seen a fucking just at the fridge that they've gave you them at a hotel. There you go. Class. Might do with that.
Sitting there scraping your roll.
Fucking,
It's annoying. Nathan said, would you like a 14-16 team league? I feel like it would benefit us being able to bring through more young players, being able to rest in more games and play different teams. That was an aspect of it we never touched on. Maybe a point from Nathan.
More youth players come through, that's actually a very good shout. Again, I suppose see if we'll be able to do that. I think I would then, I've had to say the dead set, but I'd actually then go down the route what Rangers have done and pulled a B team essentially. So you're going to be getting more games against potentially your kind of like your Falkirks, your Dunfermlines and such, and obviously not Dunfermline for like next season and such, but if it was something like that, I'd actually be all for it, because then you could see a lot of first team players getting the rest that they need. Because I mean, we've seen it this season with Calum at times have had to rest them because of those injuries.
Yeah, and that'll do it for the questions. I mean, have you got anything you'd like to add, Dylan?
No, I don't think so. Nah. Good, aye.
There we go. Sorry, I just was like, right, quiz. On that note, quiz it is. Calum is hosting our full-time quiz today, which means it's going to be me against Dylan. I am in a torrid run of form. I have not
if there's ever a person to beat and break that streak, it's me.
Listen. I'd fancy your chances, Dylan. I'd fancy your chances. The man who's in form's the man hosting. Calum's. I can't tell you the last time Calum hasn't won.
If it's not him, it's Kieran, I think. I've got the dubs. So
this is it. It's like
somebody's O has to go.
Jobber versus Jobber. Yeah. Right, Calum, take it away.
Right, I'll try to win the coin flip actually.
Let Dylan can pick if he wants, because he won the half-time quiz, didn't he?
Aye, sorry, so you did actually. Do you want to set A or set B now?
I'll go B.
B. I'll lie, both sets.
Everybody leaves me with set A all the time.
Ryan, so set A, first question started off. Last time out against this weekend's opponents was a 4-0 win, but who scored that day?
Well, what we've figured out about this quiz is that I don't have any recollection of what happened in any game. So 4-0, it would have been at Parkhead. And who scored 4-0? I need all four scored. Well, all four goals, aye. Adam Ida.
Wrong.
For fuck's sake.
Your scorers were Kun, Maeda and a Kyogo double.
Why did I not just go for why did I go for Ida? Of all players. Right, well.
Right, Dylan, set B to start us off. So far this season, what is the aggregate score against St Johnstone?
It's obviously the 4-0 there, you said. 6-0 was that? In fact, that was in the league, was that actually? I can't remember if that was league or not.
I'm not helping you.
Aye, cheers, Ryan. I actually have no clue, by the way. That's a job of your job. I don't think that's 6. For some reason, that 6-0 doesn't feel. I don't think that was the league. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Was it? I don't have a clue, man. I'm just going to go. I'm doing it. I'll just say it was, I don't know, 11-1. I don't have a clue.
10-0.
Oh, I was actually kind of close.
Is the current aggregate scoring? I seen
So
you
was it
adding them up,
6-0 in
and I
the
was like, aye.
Aye.
So
That was away for home.
We've
Aye,
only played them twice in the league so far. Aye,
and then also we'll play them this
For
weekend,
time, aye.
and then we won't get.
of course we'll get them in the split.
Of course.
Oh, should I just say?
Should have read that as you
Aye, for some reason, I don't have a clue why I thought that.
So question 2, set A, Ryan. Last time Celtic lost to this weekend's opponents,
Right.
which year was it?
The last time we lost to St Johnstone. Oh God. The league only or in the cups as well?
League.
Oh, the league. Oh God. Listen, I'm not going to keep us here all day. I'm going to assume we lost to them in the COVID season because we lost to fucking everybody in the COVID season. So I'm. Oh, but that's 2020 or 2021. 2020.
2016.
Oh wow.
Under Ronnie Dyler.
Right.
I think there was a few draws with St Johnstone on their COVID,
Aye,
but I don't think it'd be.
A good few draws in there. Dylan, on the day the score was 2-1 to the Saints, but who scored for Celtic?
2016.
Oh, take your pick. Some team.
just trying to think if it was 2016 No, I can't, obviously it was the Rodgers season. I'll go between two. I'll go Griffiths.
Correct. Was Griffiths.
Come on, you bastard.
2 on the feet was under Ronnie Dyer.
Come on.
End of the
Because I mind there was a season, I think we lost to Aberdeen that season. I think Griffiths scored that and all, so that's why I don't know.
It was a game he scored I was about to say penalty, it wasn't a penalty. I think Aberdeen scored penalty. Ryan, so let's see if you can get a point on the board here. How many players have played for both Celtic and St Johnstone? There's no loans included in this, as there have been.
How many have played for both? What, in the history of both clubs?
Yes, it's surprisingly a lot less than you would think.
What?
Probably not that many.
Because there's like some of the youth players that have kind of dipped there, haven't they? Like, so not including loans.
So no loans.
Because Ralston was there,
Yes,
wasn't he? Aye. Oh my God, what a question.
I say, do not overthink it.
Do not overthink it, right? Surely there's got to be. I'm stuck between 0, 1 and 2. I feel like I'm stuck between 0, 1 and 2. Because you've asked it, I feel like I want to say 0. But I remember, it was another centre-half, Kerr, that played for Sellik. Did he play for Celtic? I don't know. No, I'm overthinking. 1.
4.
Oh, well.
And Dan, I do apologise because you have the much harder question.
Oh, who is it?
Can you name me these 4?
Just say no.
This is a harder one. I will give you the positions. You have 2 strikers, centre mid, and a centre back.
Oh, wait,
2
I think I know why the
sorry.
strikers.
Aye, I was going to say Chiefs J.
Aye.
Nah, the
Chief
Chief is 1.
Of course.
Sorry, what was it? 2 strikers.
2 strikers, a centre mid, and a centre back.
Centre mid, centre back. St Johnstone. Right, Chief J. So it's just played in general?
I should
All
have
time?
played for both Celtic and St Johnstone. I've been in a professional career, so I'm not like, well, he was at Celtic, it was a boy, and then
Aye.
played for them.
Did Tony Watt play for St Johnstone? No.
Tony Watt did play
Did?
for St
The only reason I
Johnstone.
say that is I feel like he's played for everybody.
So one of my clues is going to be, I think they're an absolute journeyman. So you've got the 2 strikers, you've got a centre mid.
If you get
centre
3, I'll
back.
let you have the point.
Centre mid, centre back. Chief J. Watt. Was there no did McGowan not play for him? No. McGowan? No.
Your other 2 were Paul Hartley and Effie Ambrose.
Oh no!
Big Effie,
The Baron d'Or winner.
I forgot about that. There you go.
Oh god.
Aye.
Oh, that's a throwback,
I was thinking of Jason Kerr. He didn't play for Celtic. I was like, oh no, do you know what I was thinking of? Chris McCart. I think that. Is that Chris McCart?
So-
he played.
McCart was youth.
Youth for
So that's why I was saying only the
That's
actual.
who I was thinking of, Chris
Because I was
McCart.
going
Aye.
through them, I was like, aye, but then that's because I said no loans.
Aye.
I couldn't then say, aye,
no,
played as a
right,
boy.
aye,
Ryan, if you get this within 1,
Right, you'll give
I'll get it right.
Okay. I did this.
What is Rodgers' win, draw, and loss rate?
Against St Johnstone.
St Johnstone.
Right, well, let me just. First season he was here for free. Pretty sure he won off. So let's just go 3-6. Last season 9. I'm going to go, and then this season he's only played the 1 so far, so 10. I don't remember St Johnstone ever been, and then he would have been maybe 11 or. I'd say let's go for 11 games potentially that he's played against them, right? Just hypothetically speaking. Have St Johnstone finish in the top half any of the years? Maybe let's say they have 1, so I'm going to take it up to 12. I'm going to say 11 wins and a loss. No, 11 wins and a draw.
Yeah, 12 wins, 2 draws.
Oh,
You're
wow.
within 1 on both there.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Good shout, Ryan. Good
Nice.
He's 2 draws. I think 1 came the second season. In fact, 1 first season, 1 second season.
Nice.
So
I've got a point. Yes.
We take ourselves to a 2-1 here. Celtic have won, this is a kind of thought more behind you, 44 times against the Saints in the league. But how many times have St Johnstone beat Celtic?
We've won 44.
So we've won 44 times against them in the league. How many times have St Johnstone beat Celtic?
Is that just in the last, like, so often?
So Let me count quite an amount of games for Klopp has given there. Dip orders to have this before. So this is good for me.
Because it was a season when we were growing up, they were not in the league much.
No,
So this is out. This has got a rating of 56 games
56,
overall.
cool. So probably a few draws in there. I'll say St Johnstone have beaten us. I think they've ever beat us at Parkhead, if I can remember. So I'll say they've beat us twice.
4 times.
4 times, aye.
There's been
fair enough.
8
It's all-
draws, 4 wins.
It's all I play for in question
St
5,
Johnstone
boys.
fifth,
Play ones are going to get us because I haven't got a tiebreaker. We'll get one.
We're 10 in the draw, we'll end the draw.
That's fine.
Is this the last question?
This is
Eight,
like
aye.
question
Last one.
5, aye.
Fuck
Ryan, you need to get this within 2.
Right, okay.
Last time out, and a 4-0 win for Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
But how much possession did Celtic have?
83%.
70%.
Ah, you bastard. I shot too
Overshot it.
high. I overshot the runway, you bastard. See, I was going to say like 75, and then I was like, I feel like it's going to be abnormally high. So,
And
oh well.
Dylan, I
To
think
win it.
this one is it. To win it.
To win
This
it.
one is a bit a question there. Under Rodgers, how many goals have we scored against St Johnstone?
Oh,
Just say a number. Say a number.
God
Go.
almighty.
This
Go.
one took a bit of adding
Go.
up. I had to go back through them all.
I'm going to try to count every single game.
Go on law of averages. That's how I got my question right.
You put them 3 times a season. Nah, 45.
40.
Just game it. Well done, Dylan. Well done, mate.
Oh, that's right. Put a fucking tiebreaker up.
It's good. If you've got a tiebreaker, we'll do it. That's my excuse for me to try and win here. Right, I was
Keeps
unlucky.
your interest, and that was very
That was
unlucky. to be
unlucky,
fair.
aye. Right, here we go.
Within 100
Right.
in the Perries, what is the capacity of McDermott Park?
Oh, I'll go... Oh, shit. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
The panicking spot that's still in each laugh.
I'll go 12,350.
I'll go 14,600.
It's only 10,696. Shall we have our winner for the week? Is Mr. Fitzsimons.
What a bloody tiebreaker. What a shameful way to win. Good game, Dylan. Good game. Well, terrible game, really.
That was it. I'll take at least I won a half time.
Right.
Johnston knowledge is not good.
Oh, God. Let's hope that Celtic perform better than what me and Dylan did. We're going to go and...
Cut this out.
We're going to go record the Thunder Club. So head over there if you haven't already. But thank you for listening. If you haven't, drop a like and subscribe. Go and rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Thunder Club members, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. The rest of you, we'll see you next week. Take care. God bless. Cheerio.